They say it's the greatest WrestleMania of all time so far. WrestleMania 17. Can we recreate it in figure form? Let's find out. All right, of course, before we begin, a few facts. The event took place on April 1st of 2001 from the Reliant Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The attendance was 67,925, and 48 wrestlers participated at this event. Now, of course, a few rules. By the way, I'm going to be eliminating the few rules here by WrestleMania 20's edition. If you've been watching these at all, you'll know that obviously we only review stuff that made TV. At the end of it, we're going to run the stats and see how accurate it is, how complete it is, if it's even possible to complete it in any type of figure form, or if we're still missing one or two people, or if they belong to the void. As always, though, of course, I'm not going to include custom figures or managers or valets. It must be a wrestler who was scheduled to compete at the match, or was sanctioned or called on upon at the last second. It was an actual match took place, and they were also made mass marketed release. So, for example, I know Miss Jackie does have an action figure out there, but that was one of one type deal for her only. There was a prototype of Shawn Stasiak, but he never got mass released, so I'm not counting that either. But let's begin. So, WrestleMania 17 match 1, it's Chris Jericho versus William Regal, and it's not accurate. You can recreate it, but it's not accurate. William Regal is accurate, but Chris Jericho is not. If I give my opinion on this WrestleMania, I don't recall watching this live. I do believe my stepdad said no, we can't afford it this year. But on to match 2. I do remember hearing about stuff though, and I will be going off of what I remember hearing about it, and then when I did see it, my thoughts. But you have APA Bradshaw, Farouk, and Taz. Again, it's not accurate because you don't have the APA in the wrestling attire. Taz is not even close to what he wore in that attire. And then, of course, on the other side, you have the right to censor, which the only person who shows proper attire, and not even proper attire, is Val Venus, which, you know, he had white pants and white shirt and short hair. This is just basically slap on almost like a suit body, take the arms and attach them, call him Val Venus. And of course, it was really messed up that they didn't do much with Val. He never really got a lot of action figures. He had cool tires. I mean, even when I thought when he became Chief Morley, I thought for sure he'll get more figures. Or when he became more serious, became more Intercontinental Champion with Trish, they would have done something. But I mean, generic white trunks with black knee pads and white boots would have worked. But for whatever reason, he just was not, I guess, toyetic enough. And nowadays, you barely ever, get a chance to. I mean, you can see customs of him left and right, but he's not on the great terms with WWE, I'm told. So I just don't see him getting any more figures, unfortunately. Good Father, Charles Wright here. He's, the Godfather is the closer you're going to get really to that look. He has comedy as Papa Shango, but he never got the Good Father gimmick. And Bull Buchanan only ever got Recon, and you wouldn't notice it. You couldn't. There's no similarities there. He looks nothing like Bull Buchanan, so maybe one day we might get some, but currently no. And then on to the Kane, Big Show, and Raven. Now you're saying, well, they're right there. There's 3 of them, but if you look at Raven there, he's not accurate for the attire he wore during that match. Kane and Big Show are, but not Raven. And then on to Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero versus Test, and this is pretty accurate. I know Test is missing his, uh, taped fist, and I'm sure you can get a Test that has that, or you're going to, do something to that. But again, if that's the only minor thing, I mean, he's wearing, shiny black pants here. He's got shiny black pants. This, I think, is from his WrestleMania 17 match with Eddie. Then Eddie, of course, is from the figure here represented is the WrestleMania 17 representation. He even came with the European title. which there's a chase of 14 karat gold. I don't know if that actually was part of that. I never seen a 14 karat gold European belt, or if it was a different belt, but that was from him winning the belt at that show. And of course, they didn't use the proper head mold, but that is the attire. Then on to Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle, and no, it's not accurate. I mean, Kurt came. We got close here. It looks like this is pretty close. Um, as you can see, though, Benoit, it's got red with blue patches, while the figure only has red and black. So it was not quite accurate. Kurt's, of course, got looks like he has a blue elbow pads. He got red elbow pads. It is close on Kurt, but it is not close enough for Benoit, so I don't count it as accurate. Then Ivy versus China, and no, it's not accurate. That was her right to censor time, but they only made one Ivory figure ever, and that was her kind of like debut look. Which she did get a figure, fair play to her. I think it's from WrestleMania 16 assortment, which rulers the ring. Which of course it wasn't actually. If I remember correctly, she wasn't even in a match at WrestleMania 16. So kind of like it was almost like it was a lead up to it. Like maybe she might have been the SummerSlam run or something, or somewhere around there. Or they just threw her in there and say, hey, we'll call it the WrestleMania 16 line, but it's not based on her at WrestleMania 16 or like that. China, because of Mattel, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, she did have a Titantron Live that represented that match, but it didn't look nearly as good. This is flawless, even with the belt. But she didn't have Rocco here. That was just an add-on. Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon, and there is no Shane and Vince in those attires. Vince, of course, you can get him in wrestling attire. I just thought it was kind of cool, father versus son. This is more based on the invasion look. Clearly, it was just a Shane head on, I want to say almost like a Triple H Rock hybrid body. So it's not the greatest representation of neither one of them, but neither one of them have the street fight from WrestleMania 17 attire. I've looked around. Vince can have a shirt more like from his run with Austin, but they have never really dived into that. And then of course Shane has a WrestleMania 17 shirt with probably Shane O'Mac on the back of which they haven't done. They've done 15, and they did his King of the Ring against Kurt Angle, and they did his one against AJ Styles, I do believe, or at least Undertaker. Could have been one or the other. But no, they've never done anything like that, so it's not accurate. But this one I'm going to count as accurate. But I know their shirts are a little more see-through. There are better pictures of the Hardys out there. I know that there's a 2-pack that's not quite accurate. I think it's supposed to represent WrestleMania 17, as you can see on the picture there on that one. But technically, that's not. That's probably from like their WrestleMania 16 or their TLC 1. But I have seen. I just couldn't find a 2-pack picture of both of them, or even just individually one. But I've seen those before. Edge and Christian, as you can see right there, they are. That's Edge's WrestleMania 17 run. Christian wouldn't get the same love in the Titantron Live figures, but Mattel did knock out one later on. Very hard to find, of course. And then you got the Dudleys, and I know the Dudleys that are missing a little bit of camo, but I have seen great Dudley again. I was unable to find the picture proper, but this is pretty much accurate. The camo's there, at least for Bubba, if nothing else. So I decided to count it. Then we got the Gimmick Battle Royal, and this one is not going to be able to be recreated. It is in the void because there are a few people missing. And later on when we do the void segment at WrestleMania 20, or after WrestleMania 20 is posted, we're going to explain who those are and the likeliness of them ever getting that figure. Now, it is close. I mean, we've got, Repo Man in there. We got Michael Hayes. We got Jim Cornette. Kamala. We don't have Gobbledygooker. And I'm wondering if maybe Gobbledygook might make a debut somewhere down the road. I know people wanted one for a long time. Kimchi is another one in there that you can see right there in the bottom corner. They don't have a Kimchi anywhere. I thought for sure maybe there's a Hasbro of Kimchi or something, but no Kimchi anywhere. So that is unfortunate as well. And I do believe, Duke the Dumpster Drozy. I don't think you see him in the picture. I do vaguely remember him being in it. Surprisingly, he never got a figure. During the everyone has to have a job, a daytime job before they be a wrestler. And I remember him wrestling Triple H, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to have that figure. I thought his finisher was kind of cool. It was like a pump handle slam type thing, pump handle over the shoulder slam. If I'm ever gonna go the trash compactor, but no Duke the Dumpster Drozy as well. Excuse me, I have my retainer in. The streak continues, and yes, it does. And no, it is not accurate. I could have swore for life me. I remember there's a Triple H out there, a Titantron Live Triple H that would match, but I couldn't find one. I know Undertaker has had a figure that pretty much represents his time from his WrestleMania 17 match. Triple H does have stuff close. It's not gold though. It's more of a silver when he's with Jeff Hardy in the Mattel line. So no, I couldn't find one. And of course, he does have ones later on. He had like a cool smirking smile, but that might have just been me back in the day popping heads off and switching around people and whatnot. I think it was from his Cactus Jack match that I kept that Triple H because it was way more detailed. There was white bandages on the knee pads. The fists were taped. It looked really good. It had two closed fists. A preference of mine has always been closed fists. I feel like when you punch somebody, you've got a open slap or a mic holding hand. It looks the worst. And you can see right back here in the Titantron Live days, I used to find ways to carefully, and if I didn't carefully do it, I'd have to take like a little screwdriver and get in there and pop the part that broke off. But I used to switch their hands as much as I could all the time because I just didn't care for that weird, decrepit, open hand look. And then on to the main event of WrestleMania 17, Stone Cold versus The Rock. Now, Stone Cold literally, even if it may not be the represented tire that's supposed to represent, you just have to switch some knee pads. I mean, or knee braces, not knee pads, knee braces. So like if you have the Royal Rumble Elite line Stone Cold, that's literally the Stone Cold that you get two knee braces. There's two knee braces. It may not have the right vest. Obviously, I don't have the idea what the vest was during this time. Then the Rock, it looks like it's Legend 3 Rock from the look of it because it's in his gold. I think he wore the gold on that time. He wasn't known to keep the same attire more than once usually, but WrestleMania he usually wanted to do the gold shiny look. And the match was interesting. I remember when I heard about it and I heard Austin had turned heel and whatnot. And I thought, there's no way. But yeah. So if you want to recreate these two in their accurate attire, you want those two figures right there. Of course, they have elites, or they have ultimates now. Stone Cold, butterfly joints, The Rock in this earlier form, which is very expensive, and this brand new elite or Ultimate 10 that just came out. I bought it, and I have to say that I bought him and Austin, and because of it, I decided to collect Ultimates again because the playability, the posability, it's top notch. I don't necessarily need all the extra accessories, but they just they're great for their own individual like brand kind of things. I have an Ultimate brand now. All right, well. So with that being said, though, you couldn't recreate this WrestleMania. You're missing Duke, you're missing Gobbledygooker, you're missing Kimchi. You can recreate it 90% though. We're just 10% off, and that's those three right there holding us up. But if you wanted to really recreate it, you're gonna have to get the Jakks figures. They got 44 figures. Mattel is in second at 36 figures at 75%. So there's still a lot more Mattel. Of course, Mattel's had the license a few more years than Mattel, or sorry, Jakks had the license a few more years than Mattel did. But of course, where Jakks went out and signed people individually, Mattel has been stagnant. I know a lot of people are giving a lot of guff right now about how the next Ultimates are going to be like Tatanka and Lex Luger and British Bulldog, like new gen Pacific era stuff, which is kind of cool. I wish that they would, if they're gonna go into that era thoroughly, then you got to get Duke the Dumpster Drozy. You got to get, we got the Goon coming. I know people are probably saying, wait, why is the Goon not on that list? The Goon is coming, but there's other people too. The Godwins, the Headbangers. These are people that they're going to tackle the new gen era. Please go after Wildman Mark Marrow. Please get people we haven't really had a chance to have since the bone crushing action days. Patriot. I know he's passed away, but I'm sure his estate could use some sort of, check. Patriot would be kind of cool. I know it's not new gen, but it's new gen going into Attitude. Is it accurate? Well, it's 27% accurate. It's just a little past a quarter. So hopefully, maybe we'll get more people. Maybe we'll get the right to censor sometime in the future. I know Charles Wright's still under contract somewhere out there. Maybe he'll be willing to, put that one on there. I know it's one of his happiest gimmick, killed his Godfather gimmick. But times were changing, and I personally would like to have a heel faction group like that, like Mean Street Posse type thing, where you got 3 people. Since the Shield's no longer a thing, it'd be kind of cool if you collect older school stuff like that. And as always, I want to thank you for watching. I know these videos are a little bit longer now. I'm trying to, make it a little bit more personal, a little more fun to it. I know that the first couple ones were just kind of to the bone basics, but I'm just trying to streamline it to under 20 minutes, that kind of stuff. With that being said, check back soon for Recreated WrestleMania 18 X8 edition.